for step 17, attaching the battery cover, we're going to have to grab this off one of the parts trees and a couple of these little bits off the other parts trees. And then it looks like we're going to have some sponge tape. Now, what I've noticed is they give you 2 pieces of sponge tape. There's one of them, and it's a nice square. And in fact, right there, it shows you cutting it to size. Now, it's kind of a perfect fit one way, and then you're supposed to go all the way to the other side. I have not, and I'm going to show you why. In here, they're showing you that they want the sponge tape to be in between these 2 areas where we're going to screw the front gearbox down. Well, if you put this in place, you'll notice that if I didn't cut it even farther than what they say, it would stick further out. And the servo is going to sit here for the steering, and this is going to sit below the servo saver. So I've actually cut it, and in fact, if I look at this right, I cut it sort of on an angle to fit the mold of the chassis. So you can see that there's a curve on this side. I've cut it a bit more so that it's a better fit. So I'm not using their diagram. I've actually cut it my own way so that it fits better. So that might be something you want to consider, because otherwise it sticks out past these lines, and then I'm sure it's going to be in the way of the servo later on. So just maybe, cut it differently, make it fit to what you need. So I'm going to set the camera up, and we'll just install these things. And of course, there's the screws and the snap pin that we need as well. So first off, let's screw one of the battery cover pieces down, and you can see that it's indented, meaning that when it sits on there, it actually is a perfect fit. So we'll grab one of the screws, grab our screwdriver, and we'll screw this down. Now, I'm not going to totally screw it down yet, because what we also have to do is put this down. And you'll notice that the notch there, this is the battery cover, even says Tamiya right through it. The notch is facing downwards for the other end. So this is got to go inside of there, and then the other piece is going to have to fit over top of that and then screwed down. So basically you need to put the piece on before you fully screw it down. So now that we know that it's in place, let's screw this in. And once this is totally in, I'll then do some sort of final tightening, but I just want to make sure everything works, which it does. So let's just tighten this up just a little bit more. Make sure it's all the way in, which it is. So there we go. There is our battery door. So as you can see, there's also a piece right here that's going to go on the front, which is also where the other pin is going to go. So this here, we can just screw right down. Just grab the other screw. Oops. Yep, nice tight fit. So you can see when the door comes down, it's going to go over that pin, and then we're going to use that pin and slide it over just like that. So that's what's going to hold the battery. So when you want to get the battery out, we just open it up and take it out, close it up, and use the pin to close it down. So that's very cool. So there we go. There's the battery door installed. So the only last little bit that needs to be done is this piece of tape. And like I said, I'm going to move that out of the way. I have cut it specifically to fit in there. So if we turn this over, get the sponge out of there, I'm now going to fit it into there. And there we go. So it's out of the way of these lines, and it's just sitting in this front piece. So I'll shut this back down again, put the pin, and there we go. So there is the finished step 17. So we can now move on to step 18, and we're going to be working on the RC unit and putting it together and getting it ready, because we're also going to have to do an RC equipment check in a couple of steps.